channel! I'm gonna say long time no see because I haven't recorded any video for a very long time and I missed this. I missed you guys, even though I'm not seeing you when I'm actually talking to you. But still, it feels like you're listening to me now that I'm talking to the camera, so that's a weird thing, but I hope you understand what I mean. Anyway, so for today's video, I decided to film a video of do's and don'ts of writing. And this is not, well, I would say this isn't really about the technical stuff, like you don't use these words, use this expression or something like that. It's nothing about the language per se, but it's more about the techniques, the practices, and when to write and how to write. I have a few do's and don'ts, and actually these are the things that I came up with while I was writing, while I was talking to other people on social media, different poets, and also people who just write but don't really identify themselves as writers. So this is just something that I thought of and thought that I had to share it with you because I thought that it might help you too. Okay, so I didn't really think of doing one do and then one don't for this video. I'm just going to kind of mix the do's and don'ts and just whatever. I think that it's more natural rather than one do and then one don't, okay? So the first thing is don't take a very long break. So the thing is that I think this works not only with writing but with everything else as well. Whenever you're taking a long break from something, it's really hard to come back. It's the same with like sports, it's the same with languages. So it's really, really hard to come back, both physically and also psychologically as well. And also there's this thing of you don't really have that interest of coming back. So I figured that kind of taking a long break is not really a great idea because it's the same thing with my book writing thing, which is I was writing a book in the past, and so I still want to come back to it, but it feels like, first of all, I don't really make the time to do it. The second thing is I don't really consider it this is not accurate when I say I don't consider it fun because I'm in love with writing in general, but the thing is that I don't really think that I want to write books at this moment, and so there are millions of reasons for that, but the thing is that it generally put, it's really, really hard to come back to it. The number of the factors which keep you from coming back to that thing start increasing with time. Basically, that's what I wanted to say. The second one is don't get carried away improving yourself and scaring yourself even more to come back. So this is something that I am feeling at the moment. So the whole idea why I stopped writing my book is because I was like, okay, I don't think I'm that good and I'm not a good writer whatsoever, so I have to learn more to be able to write great books. For that, I decided that it would be great to become an editor, to start learning and becoming an editor, and after that I can learn the tips and tricks, the practical stuff, the grammar, the style, everything about the language that I need to know, and also the tastes of the public as well, so that I understand what are the books that the target, like to find a target audience, but besides, what are the books that people like to consume at the moment, right? What are the popular ones? What are people interested in? What do people need? So that was that, and then I was like, okay, so I have to probably learn grammar from scratch as well. And then I was like, okay, so I have to read more books, I have to do this and that, and hundreds of millions, so millions of different things. And that's basically what I'm doing right now, and I'm not saying that is bad. That's really, really good if you want to learn, because basically that's going to be how life goes in general. You're going to be a lifelong learner because everything changes. I don't think there comes a moment where you're like, oh yeah, I've learned enough, I can skip learning for now. But I realized that the more I learn, the more it seems like I don't know anything about the field, about the language, about writing in general, and that kind of made me really, really scared, actually, because I realized at some point that no matter how much I learn, I feel like it's not enough. I feel like I am not good enough and my writing isn't good enough. So that is something that I'm working on at the moment, trying to find that objective line between actually learning and then pressuring yourself, constantly pushing yourself down, thinking you're not good enough just because you haven't read all the books on grammar and you haven't studied all the courses about editing and writing and whatever it is. So just a tip for me, because I know that that is the case with me and I can't really get out of it at the moment, but I'm working towards that. Another thing is post your poems on other social media. Sometimes people are like, how are you getting followers and everything, which at the moment has kind of stopped for some reason because of I guess it's because of the algorithm or something. I don't know. It's really hard to figure out Instagram. But yeah, what I was saying is post your writings in different places, because it's really hard to find followers when you post only to one place. For example, when you only post to Instagram, it's really hard to find followers because of the algorithm, because of the interest as well. You have to find the apps that are really, really close to your interests, and also find the apps where you can post your poetry and people have those interests and go into those apps thinking that they might find something similar to that. For example, I feel like Instagram, the poetry side of Instagram is really close to the Pinterest stuff, because they usually search for quotes, people going there. Of course, they not post, but look for different style inspirations as well. But at the same time, they also search for different quotes and poems. So I've seen that and I've done that myself as well. So that, or iHeartIt. Also, I think Pixart can be a great platform for that too, where you can create it as a replay and then just other people can take your words and put it on their pictures and then post it somewhere else. So you have to be able to kind of post the same poem even in many different places so that you can find as many people as possible. And then try to do different things from time to time. So I'm somebody who gets bored easily. That's why, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but on my account, from time to time, I feel like I have to add something interesting, something different. At least it might not be interesting for everybody, but still I try to find something different. I try to think of the things that would kind of break that monotonous theme going on on my account. So I'm thinking of like, okay, so what can I do? Can I change the format, like not doing just only pictures but doing videos, or filming reels, or doing some lives or something else? And then besides the format, you also think the style, the topic, the creative things where you can actually take your writing and put there. So yeah, this is one thing that I think is very interesting, but also this is a good way for also attracting other people as well, because sometimes people get used to the format and then they're like, yeah, okay, so it's boring. The only thing they do is just post quotes and it's on the same background, or different backgrounds but basically the same thing. So that's a good tactic in my opinion. So kind of having that strategy to change some things from time to time. And I also think that it really, really helps the writer himself or herself find inspiration once again. Whenever you're doing the same thing for a long time, there comes a point where you're like, okay, so it's not fun anymore. Like, what else should I do? I'm doing the same thing, literally the same thing every day. And then you kind of find that thing that makes you really enthusiastic about posting, about creating content. The next thing is create an account that is interesting to you, that you would follow. And I think this is very, very interesting. Oh, oops. Well, yeah, it's interesting, but also it's a very important factor, because sometimes we try to think like everybody else. It's really hard to fit everybody's taste, to try to find what they would like, because there are so many people and so many tastes, right? And it's just impossible to please everybody. So I think that the main person who you should please is yourself. You have to create an account that you would actually want to follow if you weren't the owner of that account, right? So when looking at my account, I always ask myself that question, like, would I follow myself? If we are putting all of those like subjective thoughts and feelings away, would I follow myself? And if the answer is no, then I try to find the things that would make me follow myself. If the answer is yes, then I'm on the right way, right? And I feel like that's a really helpful question. I keep asking myself the question from time to time to be able to understand like whether I'm on the right track or not. And I feel like it could help you too, because sometimes we're like, okay, at the moment, literally I'm losing followers. It was 12.8 in the past, and it's now 12.7K. So I was really, really sad for a while, thinking, what is wrong with my account? Does it bore people? Is it, or maybe it just became boring, or am I doing something wrong? And then blah blah blah, all of those thoughts. And then I was like, okay, so remember why you opened this account to begin with. And the reason why I opened it was to express the feelings that I have inside of me, the feelings and the thoughts that I have inside of me. Obviously also to be able to kind of support other people and then show them that they're not alone, that whatever they're feeling, I'm feeling that too, and all of that kind of stuff. But besides, one of the reasons why I opened my account, one of the main ones, was to be able to kind of open my heart and just let my feelings explode, because sometimes I'm feeling too much and I really, really need to express those feelings and emotions. So yeah, that being said, really think about creating an account that you would follow, because it's your account and it's really important that you like what you created. Try to make your dreams come true. That's a do again. And this is what I'm actually trying to do. I have many dreams and small or big, there are so many, I can't even count them, and sometimes I even forget part of those because there are so many, and I get a new dream every single day, so that's me. But yeah, so try to make your dreams come true. By that I mean, for example, with my account, one of the things that I would love to do in the future is kind of having a show, probably. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but just, for example, having a show where I could bring different writers in and talk to them about their writings, but not just having those formal conversations, but having those informal discussions, talks, and get to know sessions where you can really get to know that person and really get to know their writings and give them the opportunity to kind of talk about those things. And it doesn't really have to be a famous writer, it really has to be somebody on Instagram who writes. And I like the idea, and that was one. And also I always imagined being on a show where I can talk about my writing, where I can talk about how I write, what I write, and that's one of the reasons why I started my YouTube channel. But also, those two things were the ideas and kind of the inspiration behind my Oh my god, what was it? I forgot the name. Yee, amazing. Oh, Meet a Writer. Yeah, I haven't done that for a long time. That's the reason. So Meet a Writer, that's where I got the inspiration to have that segment on my YouTube channel, to bring in writers and just make one of my dreams come true, where I can talk about my writings and where I can bring people who want to talk about their writings and who need that kind of spotlight for themselves, to kind of have that spotlight for themselves for a moment, or just, for even 30 minutes, which is a big thing. Another thing is I dream of doing voiceovers someday, and also for cartoons. And also one of the things that I really, really love is there was this moment in my life where I thought that I wanted to record audiobooks. So those two came together, and that's how I started reading my own poetry. And so I am doing poetry readings on my YouTube channel, but I'm also doing those poetry reading videos on Instagram as well. So those little things that I feel like, oh my god, I would love to do that, I would love to do this and that and everything. I'm not talking about the impossible stuff, like some things that you literally can do, like for example jumping from a I don't know, what was it, oh yeah, bungee jumping or something. I don't even know why that came to my mind, but things like that, you obviously, actually you can find ways of making those dreams come true. But still, so whenever I'm having a dream, I'm like, okay, so how can I make that dream come true through my account or through my YouTube channel? That's how you start making those connections and really making yourself happy. I really, really, really get happier and happier whenever I have those ideas and whenever I think of ways of how I can incorporate that in my account or in my YouTube channel. So I feel like you can work on that too. And I feel like that could be a skill, and you can develop that skill as well. Just you have to be able to kind of connect the dots, and I'm sure you can do it. Anyone can do it. The last one is, don't write if you don't feel like it. Don't pressure yourself into writing. I am literally like that. Sometimes I really get panicked when I'm in a block. I'm like, okay, why am I in a blog? And when it's just one day, it's fine. But there were days where I'm like, okay, 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5, I can't write anything. Nothing comes to mind, no inspiration. I'm just stuck. And I got really panicked. And I've even gotten messages like that where people were like, I really want to write, but for some reason I just can't. It doesn't really happen. Nothing comes to mind. I'm not able to articulate what I feel. And that's why in those cases, I'll be like, don't write if you don't feel like it. Because there comes this moment where you start really pressuring yourself, like, why can't I write? Is something wrong with me? Did I maybe stop being the writer that I was before? And I've had those thoughts. That's why I'm kind of mimicking myself and making fun of myself. But still, don't think those things. If you don't feel like writing, don't pressure yourself. Give yourself some time to kind of come back to normal, come back to the place where you are really inspired and you have things to say. Maybe it's just a period in you where you have to recharge and just come back with more inspiration and motivation and just more things to say. And the last one is, and this is one of the most important things, try not to be affected by the algorithm. And I'm struggling with this a lot because there was this moment where I would get followers really, really quickly. And I was, first of all, I wasn't only happy about that, but I was also afraid of it. I'm like, what is happening? Everybody's liking the same post. Like maybe I will get shut down because of it, because I thought that, I don't know, I think that Instagram has that kind of a thing. When you start getting really, really popular, instantly they think that you're doing some sneaky stuff. That's where I got really, really scared. And then I was like, okay, so I'm getting more followers. This is really, really scary. And then I stopped getting followers for a very long time, blah, blah, blah. And then after the change of the algorithm, I'm almost not getting any. I mean, I am getting, but the numbers aren't moving. So I'm like, okay, so what is happening here? with that being said, it has made me sad for many days, and I feel like admitting that it's okay, but we can't really think of our work through the lens of the algorithm because it changes a lot. Sometimes it's not easy to understand it. Sometimes it's like you feel like you're doing everything according to the algorithm, but it just doesn't work. The number of the followers doesn't increase, and that's okay. It's just a period of time. But please, one thing that I'm asking of you and of myself as well, because whatever I'm saying this even for myself. I'm looking at myself at the moment, trying to kind of make myself understand all of that, all of those things, which is, don't think that your writing is bad just because the algorithm doesn't make it accessible to more people. Because it doesn't really mean that your writing is bad, that you're not good enough. It just means that not many people get to see it. But if they did get to see it, they will give you more appreciation and recognition for sure. And I try to understand that as well, but there are still days where I feel really bad because of that. I really don't want to write anymore. I'm like, okay, so my writings are not good enough. They were good, but now that the likes are down, I guess I should stop writing and stuff like that. But just get those thoughts away from your mind and just continue writing, continue making yourself happy, and don't think of the algorithm, because it's just numbers. It's just business and money and everything. So sometimes it's not as objective as you'd love it to be. So try to spend more time on making yourself happy rather than spending time on negative thoughts that really don't get you anywhere, just put you down and help you stop writing whatsoever. And that is it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I was really happy making it and writing those tips for you, because whatever I'm kind of telling you to do are the things that I'm even telling myself to do, and I'm constantly reminding myself of those things. It doesn't really work always, but I'm still working on myself. And give yourself some time to kind of understand and process and analyze, and just admit that you have that kind of a small problem, and then just work on it. I'm sure all of you can do it, can succeed, because the people who are following me and the people who are texting me are really, really talented, and I feel like there are so many talented people who get sad because of small things here and there that are not as strong as your talent and your passion and your love. Mwah! Bye!